Mr. Abe's sudden departure surprised Japan and the world. Therefore, the funerals of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, besides families, was also visited by many peoples and friends around the world to see him off and send his condolences. After the funerals of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, the hearse turned the former Prime Minister's bodies from the shrine to the Kiritaja funerals home for cremations. After the funerals took place at the Zojoji temples in Minato streets, the hearse returned the bodies of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and passed through many places in the political centers of Tokyo. The hearse passed the Prime Minister's office, the Parliament House, where Abe interns as young lawmakers in 1000s and 1930s. And his office led the country after two terms as Prime Minister 2012 and 2020. His funerals were presided over by his wife, Aki Abe, and attended by family members. And people claim the former prime ministers, and Shinzo Abe's funerals were held at Zojoji Temple. The temple is historical landmarks of Tokyo. The temple is historical landmarks that will be more than 600 years ago and relocated to the capital in 1598. According to the temple's official's website, the Buddhist temples located near Tokyo Towers was once the temples of the Tokugawa clan, once a popular family in Japan. The temple is also a place of special significance as it is also the resting place of many Tokugawa clan's shogun. Mr. Shinzo Abe is the longest-serving prime minister in the Japanese history with 8 years and 7 months in office in 2 periods. Although he resigned due to health problems, he still has a profound influence on the ruling LDP. Mr. Shinzo Abe's political career has been shaped by his results discovered to image of Japan playing a larger role in regional and international rules. Therefore, it became said that Mr. Shinzo Abe's sudden departure is shock. A great loss not only for the peoples of Japan, but also for the whole world. The sudden passing of Mr. Shinzo Abe made not only the peoples of Japan, but also peace-loving people around the world smile. During the funerals of Mr. Shinzo Abe, many Japanese people went to Zojoji temples in the Minato district of central Tokyo, where the funeral was held to pay the respect, the boundless mercy to the country's politicians. His sudden death is cherished in great lives the peoples of Japan, as well as in the leaders and the peoples of the world. The longest-serving prime ministers in the modern Japanese history, Mr. Abe's legacy is clearly linked to the proactive foreign politics, as he put Japan back on geopolitical map, having the foreign clear tie with the U.S., India, and Australia, Southeast Asia, and United States, Europe. The funerals of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe began noon to July 12, 4 days after his sudden death. The day following the news of Mr. Shinzo Abe's death, a gloomy and mournful atmosphere enveloped Japan, although the funerals were held on July 12 and was only attended by families and close people. As many Japanese people still go to Zojoji temples to remember these politicians. Hundreds of people from the early mornings brought flowers lights outside the Zojoji temples in the center of Tokyo, where Mr. Shinzo Abe's funerals were held to wait for their turn to visit. Many people carried flowers, letters, and green teas as symbols of hope in the afterlife and also to pay respect. Besides the peoples in the countries, many international political leaders have paid their respect. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Taiwan Deputy Leader William Lai as family friends. After the funerals, the hearse carries the bodies of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe were taken from the temples to the funeral home from cremations. On the way, hearse passed important sites such as the Prime Minister's office, The parliaments, buildings, the honors, libraries, democracies, parties of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. At the Prime Minister's office premises, office staff will stand outside see him off. Mr Shinzo Abe Prime Minister's funerals at the Zojoji temples is open to family members, foreign politicians, and people close to the Prime Ministers. The unfortunate since a former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has left great grief not only for the Japanese people, but his contribution to the world's peace will also be admired and remembered by the people. We once again send our deepest condolences to the peoples of Japan and great respect for the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.